Okay, so just quickly before the video starts, I want to basically announce that I now have an affiliate link with BITGET. I've been using it for the past few days, and so far so good. It's really good. I will be making a video on it, going into more detail about how it works, and also a new series that's going to be done on BITGET. And yeah, so if you're not on exchange, if you're not on a exchange or are looking for a new exchange, I would definitely recommend getting on BitGet. It does have KYC, but I'm going to go over that in the other video. There's loads of interesting things that you can do on here, loads of perks that you get from using my affiliate link, and loads of perks that are just on BitGet anyway, as you can see. But yeah, let's get into. Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Trading Simplified. On this episode we're going to go over resistance and support levels. On the last episode we covered risk management. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to watch it. It's very important. It's got some information there that you need to know when trading. So parts that we're going to cover in this episode are: what are resistance and support levels, different types of resistance and support levels, trend lines, channels, formations. I may add a few extra bits and bobs in there, but they're going to be the main title bits that I cover. I'm not going to go over fibs or fixed range volume profiles. They will have their own video, as well as some of the other important bits and bobs that I use that create resistance and support levels, but they'll have their own dedicated video. So in this section I'm going to go over what support and resistance actually is and how the price reacts to it. So we're just going to draw a line up here and I'm going to show you what the price can do. So say you've marked this area out because of a reason. We're going to go over later on in the video how to mark these out and different types that we can have. But for the moment, just say this is in an area that you need that's a support or a resistance zone. In this case, it's resistance. So the price will come up and it will react to this point here. So it'll either push through and then it can push up and retest, or there's a higher probability of pushing down from that area. And normally you can see sort of action like this, okay, and then you can see it push through. Can come for a retest, or it can keep on retesting, or it can go for a bounce. Sometimes if there's enough volume, then sometimes it can just shoot straight through them. But this is how price normally reacts to them, is that there's a bounce. When price comes in from underneath, then this is known as resistance. When the price can either come down and bounce off as well, then this is known as support. Okay. These don't have to be horizontal lines. They can be drawn diagonally, as a trend line like this, but we'll go over these in more detail later. And they will act exactly the same on how price moves around them. Okay, so that's the simple part of it. And on the next section we'll go into how to draw them. So in this section we're going to talk about one of the main kind of horizontal levels of support and resistance, which I think is quite important, that I use quite frequently, which is the daily. So I've not actually set up any on here, but we can find them quite easily. They're all over the place. So for example, you can see one just a couple days ago here, even right here. So this is where the body close from one day and the next day are together. So if I do a horizontal trend line here, go away, this is a daily level of support. Right, I can even mark it as so. Okay, like that. That's how I do it. And you can probably retrace this back and see that, look, there's a bounce, there's a support, it's got bounced off of here, did a fake out here. So you can just see, just from drawing that from here, you can see that it has reacted to it in the past, which kind of concretes that as a resistance level. You can do this all the way for all these levels and they are all valid. Okay, that is one of the most important ones that I use personally a lot of the time. and you'll probably also see a lot of other people use it, and it works the same on the weekly time frame. So say this weekly closes down here. Obviously we've got quite a way for the weekly, but say the weekly closes, let's just use this example here. So this will be a weekly close over here, which is a strong level of resistance. I will also set it as weekly, and then I leave it on my chart like that, and then say the price is going and it comes up to it. I'll be looking for kind of a reaction from this level. If it negatively reacts from this zone, then I'll look for a short. But if we push above it and retest, then we could look for higher levels. And that's how I kind of use the weekly, monthly, daily, I don't know why I say it in that order, levels of support. Okay, so on this section of the video, we're going to go over trend lines. So let's go on to the 15 in a minute. We're going to go over trend lines and kind of what they are and what they do. So for this one, you want to use the trend line thing on TradingView, and then you can kind of just drag it across some things, some bits like this, okay? And then from what we went over earlier, I mean, that wasn't much description really, was it? But you can see that we've seen a bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, kind of bounce there. So say this price went it is more likely to break down than it is to break up, okay? But say that the price did go up and pushed through, then what you could do is look for a retest, possible entry into a long, and then it could push up further. And all you really need to do for these is look for these points where it's hit quite frequently. You can line them up kind of any way you really want where they can work. I mean, even there, that's quite an interesting trend line actually, where this is bounced here, and then it's pumped over. So he's gone for the retest, could along that there, come back down, gone for the retest there, long. Do you know what I mean? So there's some good stuff like that. Also, what I quite like using is this parallel channel, which I've done. I've changed the settings so it extends for basically the entire screen, and then you kind of create yourself a channel, and then what it likely is to do is to bounce kind of off these areas. As you can see, it's kind of doing that, and then when it breaks out of these zones, either here or if it broke out to the upside, that was meant to be an arrow, breaks out, that's awful, breaks out to the upside, then that's kind of a bullish indicator. It breaks down to the downside, it can be a bearish indicator, but do be wary that there can be fake outs where it comes out and goes straight back in. I've decided that it's a good idea to make a whole video regarding formations rather than just a section in the support and resistance video. So what I've done is I've removed the section and I've added in a little bit extra of a support and resistance indicator that I use daily, and it's incredible for some of the trades. So that'll be in the next section. So sorry about that, but the video will be probably in the next couple that come out. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to give you an absolute gem of an indicator here as kind of thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. So MTF key levels is an incredible indicator that I think you should definitely have on your TradingView. I don't know if you can find it on here, so I would suggest going down into the description and clicking on the link in there, and you'll be able to add it to your favorites and be able to access it on TradingView. But the best thing about this is it's got the daily, weekly, and monthly VWAPs that price reacts really well to. I mean, you can see here just in the past day that we've seen reaction from these levels, and it's just they're great to trade off. But then it's also got all these other resistance areas. So previous day low, daily open, weekly open, you've got like yearly open and previous week low and all these other stuff, and it just marks all of these out. Even you can put I personally don't do this, but you can do it for any specific areas like the the PD low. You can put a trend, you can put this on here, put text on there for that, and then you can turn the indicator off and use that as its own resistance level. Because all of these areas that are marked out by the indicator, these are all levels of resistance. So it's definitely something that could be very, very useful for your trading strategy. Okay, so just one quick tip that I forgot to mention is that the magnet can be very useful when trying to get exactly on these trend lines, or to get them done, to get them created. For example, you can see that automatically attached the trend line to the top. It also works with, say, if you want to do a horizontal trend line for whatever. Normally it's easier. There we go. But it helps you get the exact top dollar perfect, and that's a useful tip. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is the end of it. I hope you've picked up something new. I know we went quite basic and then got a bit more complicated throughout, but hopefully you've learned something, and I'll see you for the episode 3.